right, this is the first drive with the big Cummins high output 3500 Ram coming from gas. The first thing I can say is the pedals work the same, so that's good.
Yep.
That was definitely a concern. No extra pedals there. Now, do you call it the gas pedal?
I call it the accelerator pedal.
Accelerator. All right. Now we're back on Louisiana's terrible roads.
Yes.
Louisiana, you got some interesting food. Some of it is pretty darn good.
Yes.
Your roads,
Terrible.
terrible. And I come from the land of potholes up around Chicago, so
That says a lot.
for a place that doesn't ice up, you guys got something going on here. All right, first impression is like it rides pretty smooth. I mean, it's a big truck. It feels, a little bit heavier than mine. Not a lot, but it feels a little bit heavier in the front. Got all that engine weight. The brake is smoother than mine. That is definitely an issue I have.
I second that.
Yeah. Oh, we could have gone. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Here we go.
Ooh, you feel that power? Ooh, man.
Give this guy a little bit of a distance. Let him go, and so we can punch it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Okay, we're going about 30, and let's just see how fast we can get up to 60 without overdoing it. Yeah. Nice and smooth. I don't feel any shifts.
We'll do it from 0 to, that way you can get a nice, I'll record it for you. But yeah, I mean, I will say, the 7.3 is a torque monster. And I think that with those low RPMs and that horsepower, it's just, I mean, it really has a lot of grunt down low. So yeah, I think that that's one thing I will say about that. Of course, this being a diesel, I mean, this has no like loss of power when you're towing. I mean, those turbos spool up really quickly, and I mean, I think for the most part, the biggest selling point for the diesel is it's quieter. When you think about that aspect of it, I think it's quieter, especially if you're climbing grades. That's like the biggest selling point. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, climbing grades sometimes, my wife will look over at me and be like, "Is everything all right?" I'm like, yeah, we're good. I enjoy that nice throaty roar that 7.3 has.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is nice. It's nice and quiet. I don't know how much of that is, Ram just has a good cab insulation here. How much of that is just the engine. Try not to go too fast, so I'm getting past here.
No, you're fine. You're going about 65. We're doing 14.7 mpg at 2.6 miles. So we're definitely ahead of the gas. But again, this is not really a comparison, really. It's just really just having the back of your mind if you're cross-shopping diesel versus gas. I think that the Ford diesels do about the same as the Rams, especially now when they have the 10-speed. And I feel like they're doing about what the inline 6 can do on fuel economy now. So, yeah, I mean, you could probably get, if you stay at 60 to 65 miles an hour, cruising on a road like this for a couple hours, you can get 20. You get up to 75, 80, you'll get about 17 in that ballpark. About 17.2. So we'll see what you do with a few stops. So what do you think about the overall comfort, visibility, things like that?
Sure. As you may remember, I had an AT4 before my Ford, and one of the complaints I had was that big aggressive hood that they have on there. It's tall. It sticks up, and it hurts your visibility. Now, when you're riding on the expressway, it's not that big of a deal because you're not really getting that close to other vehicles. But the Ford is quite a bit lower. They say the Ram is probably more in between, closer to the Ford. I think that if I was driving around in a city and I was worried to get close to things, I think that this would be fine. I think the Ford is fine. I think GM, I think you should think about lowering that a little bit. You don't really need all that height. You're just trying to look cool, which it does look cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, we're getting off this exit, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we are, we're riding the highway here. It's pretty smooth. I'd say the road noise, the vibration in the truck, like everything is all pretty smooth. I'm pretty happy with it. Coming off my Ford, I don't notice a big difference. I know you have more aggressive looking off-road tires on this truck. Do you want to talk about those tires at all?
Yeah, so I have the Nitto Ridge Grapplers on the truck, and they're 295 60/20, and they're a little bit more aggressive than the stock one. So it's like a 34-inch tire basically, and I think they look great. I think I'm gonna go do a 35 next though. I was a little concerned about like fitment. I didn't want to have any rubbing issues because I wasn't planning on leveling the truck or anything like that. But I think that with my fuel economy, I'm happy with it with these tires. I mean, now that the Cummins is more broken in, I have 28,000 miles. I think it's a really good setup for the most part. And yeah, they don't have that much noise for what they are. I think that Nitto makes a good tire. I think they're manufactured with Toyo or alongside of that tire. So yeah, I'm really happy with the ride comfort, the noise comfort, things like that.
Yeah, I drove a Tremor. That has a pretty aggressive off-road tire.
35s too.
35s, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very similar to what I have in my truck, right? Same gearing, same everything. Mm-hmm. And those tires were brand new, so you could they're really sticky, right? So you could feel the difference in turning. This rides more like my truck. I expected it to be a little harder to turn, a little bit stickier, a little bit stiffer tire, but it's got a pretty good ride. I like it.
So where are we at on fuel economy?
All right, so we are at 18.2. That is something that I can't even imagine getting close to in that 7.3.
Yeah, well, diesel fuel is more efficient. It burns a little bit slower versus gas. I would be interested to see what would happen if you went up to like an 89, if it would make a difference. That'd be a good test for you in the future. Like if you want to do 87 versus 89, mm-hmm. You don't really need to use 93, but I wonder if there would be a slight difference, because higher octanes allows the engine to run more efficiently from what I've read. So it might be something to consider. All right, guys, I cannot believe the fuel economy we're seeing. Now, where do we end off on the Ford? It's like 15.2, I believe. 15.4?
15.2, yeah.
Somewhere in there. And we are at 19.7 at 11.7 miles, 15 minutes. So, I don't know, like, that will make up a lot of ground, depending on where we end off at. But that's not bad. And I was hypermile on the Ford. I was hypermile on that bad boy.
You were. I didn't find a Mazda to draft off of, so. That was the Ram 3500 with the high output Cummins engine and the Aisin transmission. 6 speeds, 6 cylinders. It's a powerhouse. 1,075 pound-feet of torque and 420 horsepower. I didn't get to tow with it, but I'm sure it is a towing monster. As far as the exterior goes, all the trucks, it's going to be whatever you like the look of best. I worry a little bit about that shorter bed, but JB's been doing this for quite a while and he says he hasn't had a problem, so I'm going to believe him. I don't know that few extra inches that Ford and GM offer is going to make a huge difference for you. It certainly is a little bit of a concern. Ram's interior is fantastic. They have leather, wood trim in all the right places. It's a nice looking truck. One of my concerns is head height. If you haven't seen the video where I talk about the interior, you should go back and look. I'm a tall guy and I was rushing my head here. I think that large entertainment screen, I thought it was kind of silly. What do I need such a large screen for? But when I saw that I can have maps on top and I can have other controls on the bottom, that's one of my big pet peeves in this truck. I've got maps up and I need to change something and I'm in an area that I've never been before. I need to know where I'm going at all times. And so to be switching the controls around, it's a little bit annoying and a little bit frustrating. And it feels like Ram has solved that with a screen that essentially is so big it gives you 2 screens. The limited truck in the gas configuration is a $67,000 truck. You're adding $12,000 for the diesel configuration, so you're right around $80,000 for that truck. You definitely can add a few extras and bring that number up a little bit higher, and just be glad if you can pay MSRP right now in this market. The Cummins engine weighs 1,070 pounds. The gas engine in this truck weighs 580 pounds. That extra weight is noticeable. When you're steering, the front end feels a little bit heavier, particularly at low speeds. I felt the steering was a little bit loose, not in a bad way, but more like the floating on the highway in a Cadillac kind of way, versus the Super Duty is a little bit tighter, kind of in the Mustang sort of way. Not that this is a sports car, but the 7.3 liter in the Ford is also a bit more peppy. The Ram is designed for towing, and when you get to speed, you're good, and you're just floating on the highway, not a care in the world. But when you're unloaded, it's not as fast. The diesel engine with 6 gears, and it takes a little bit for the turbos to spool up. I felt a little bit of sluggishness in some of the gear changes. Still a good truck. It's not a race car. My complaints are very minimal. If you want to drive this thing around town, it's still going to be very enjoyable. If you are looking for something a bit more peppy, the 7.3 liters is probably it. Thanks, JB. I really appreciate you letting me drive your truck.